Question 1. Which sci-fi ship is better? The Defiant from DS9 or the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars? Shannon, you have Defiant. Kenneth, you have Millennium Falcon. And you may put your first hot sauce on your piece of chicken.
Bacon, right?
Bacon. This first one is ass-kicking bacon.
Oh my gosh, these come out really fast. Okay.
And we are off. Shannon, why don't you start? Why is the Defiant a better ship?
Well, here's the thing. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so the Defiant is the first ever Starfleet ship that was built specifically for combat. There was no other Starfleet ship built for combat before the Defiant, and it was specifically built to battle the Borg. And now, I know that the Millennium Falcon can fly fast or whatever. It delivers things, and that's neat. It's cute. It's cute that it's good. People need things delivered, so that's really, really important. But if you want to be in combat, I would pick the Defiant. Not only that, but can it cloak? Oh, but the Defiant can, because it was retrofit with a Romulan cloaking device in order for it to go against the Dominion. So, I mean, I don't know what you have to say about that, but I would strongly suggest that if you're going into a fight, you're going to want to pilot the Defiant, because really the only thing that the Millennium Falcon has going for it is Han Solo. And if you just took Han Solo out of the Millennium Falcon and put him in the Defiant, then the Defiant would have just as good a pilot. And if you need a pilot that good in order for a ship to have any character, I would strongly recommend that it's not the ship that you're going to be rallying behind. It is the pilot. And what we're talking about today is the ship. I have more to say, but I'll give you an opportunity.
All right, Kenneth, what's your take here? Why is the Millennium Falcon a better ship?
Okay, so better is the operative word, because if we're talking about more useful, what can do more things, then all the Trekkie ships are going to kick the shit out of the Falcon 10 times out of 10. It's not even close. But if we're talking about what's cool, and I would argue that that's what makes the better ship, which would you choose, viewer, to want to actually be in the driver's seat of? Cool factor, the Falcon smokes any Star Trek ship. It's not even close. That's the thing. It's like arguing that a Tesla is better than a vintage Mustang. A Tesla is gonna be able to do a whole lot more stuff. It's gonna have more gizmos, but you really want to drive the Mustang. It's a cooler car. And yeah, if you take Han Solo out of the Mustang and put him in a Tesla, he'll have the big touchscreen, and that's all right. But it makes the Tesla more cool having him in it, but it doesn't diminish the cool factor of the Mustang. So that would be my opening. Pew pew.
Pew pew.
All right. Well, that's actually beautifully timed, you guys. We are going to move on to the next hot sauce, which is the chili lime hot sauce.
Oh, these come out really fast.
They do, and they're going to keep coming. All right, so you've both done your opening statements. I'm curious what Shannon thinks about the Tesla versus Mustang comparison here.
I really fucked up with the size of these. Giant.
Take a bite. Take a bite. It's fine.
I'm always the one eating. It wasn't bad either. So I heard you talk a lot about how cool it is, but I didn't hear you talking about any reasons that it is cool. So let's talk about some of the reasons that the Defiant is cool. First off, it's one of a kind. It has interior nacelle, so it can still generate a warp field without having an additional target. That's pretty impressive. It also has a cloaking device. We've already talked about that. It can be remotely operated because of the way Starfleet creates their vessels. You can essentially fly the Defiant on a tablet. I mean, you've said that it's cool, and I get that you might have an emotional attachment to it, but having an emotional attachment to it and subjectively saying that you think it's cool doesn't actually provide any evidence for why I or anyone else should think that it's cool. I mean, let's talk a little bit about what's not cool about the Millennium Falcon. For example, it has a sentient navigation system that actually just kind of does whatever it wants. It argues with its own pilot and creates its own paths. So if you want something to be cool if that's your argument for why I should opt for that as opposed to the Defiant. Wouldn't that be a detriment? I don't know. I have more, but you can go. I'll go.
All right.
So I'm gonna take a sip of drink right now.
having the like sentient navigation system that does this stuff thing, it's literally a rebel ship. I think this makes it that much cooler. So obviously there are going to be intangibles when you're talking about the cool factor of anything. And I get that like a one-off, really, really modern minivan with guns is like that's it gets the job done, you know, and that's fine. You're absolutely right that the Falcon is not one of a kind in a production sense. It's a what do you call it? Like a Carillion Corvette, right? There's thousands of them. In the Star Wars universe, I mean, you see that the Falcon's been sitting on a planet and people don't even know what it is. I think that makes it cooler. It's almost like a car that's a sleeper. Like that, because of all the modifications that have been done, because it's been customized by the pilot to do the things that it does, I think that adds to the cool factor.
So what's cool about it is that they spent an entire movie literally stranded on a planet because it couldn't operate. And the entire plot of that movie was that they needed to find the parts in order to make it even fly.
Yeah. Yeah, like, because having like a project car that's super cool in your garage that you can talk to your friends about, one day I'll finish this. Like, I think that's cooler than having like a fully operational Prius.
I mean, that's you. All right, then.
He equated the Defiant to a Prius. I'm hearing shots fired.
Speaking of shots fired, in battle, I think the Falcon wins 9 times out of 10 because we all know that Han shoots first. Whereas the Trekkies are going to be like, let's talk about it.
Ship, not
all
the
right,
pilot.
you guys, we are moving on to the next hot sauce.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Yep, we are going on to the sriracha sauce. So make sure you give that a nice big helping and take a bite before you continue. Kenneth, I'm going to pick on you this time. Okay. Let's move into combat. Let's move into that area.
Let's. I would say that the Falcon is more battle tested. Like, I mean, I'm touching my face a lot. That's really not a good idea.
This one's a little bit hotter.
Yeah, you feeling the heat a little bit?
I think that if we're talking one-on-one, like firepower level, I think, the Trekkie ship can blast the Falcon out of the sky if it can hit it, which, I mean, moves pretty quick, pretty fast, a lot faster than the Star Trek ship does. The same. The maneuverability is a factor. I mean, just having a big gun doesn't make you cool. I mean, look at like all those Americans that are like compensating with their giant guns. I don't think that's cool.
So let's talk for a second about battle. So the Defiant, like if you turned the Millennium Falcon on its side, it wouldn't even span the entire width of the Defiant. The Defiant is huge comparatively. Not only that, but I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the Millennium Falcon can only have deflectors on either the forward or the aft portion at any given time. It cannot have deflectors on both. So if you wanted to put them head to head, all the Defiant would have to do is scan the Millennium Falcon, find out which deflector they had on, cloak themselves, go to the interior side, and shoot them with literally anything. Because you said a gun. Oh my goodness. They have way more than a gun. They destroyed a Borg sphere. And I know that there was like this like big round ship that was destroyed. Oh, that's right. The round starship that was destroyed in Star Trek wasn't actually destroyed by the Millennium Falcon, was it? It wasn't in that battle. Just because it can run away really, really fast doesn't mean that it wins any battles. The Defiant head-to-head is going to destroy not only the Millennium Falcon, but a lot of other ships in the Star Wars universe. The end. It went up against the Borg. Let's be serious.
Yeah, all right. One more.
They want to talk it out. The Star Trek guys would want to talk it out. And my face is on fire, and I'm regretting everything about this already.
Right.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't touch your face. Like, you could get away with it up until this one, but we're moving on to Cajun, which is number 4 of 12. So let's move on to this last one in this round.
This is wonderful.
All right, and we're getting 3 minutes because this is the end of this round. So make sure you make your final comments. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break, debrief, and take on the second question. All right, Kenneth, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
All right. Listen. It's in the name, you guys. All right. Star Wars, they're fighting. Okay. They're gonna get out there and mix it up. Star Trek, they're just going somewhere. They might fight about it, they might not. And they're gonna try not to. That's in the whole Roddenberry thing, right? It's like we're gonna work it out. So I think that gives the Falcon an edge.
While we're recovering,
those are a lot of solid points.
Best name ever asked, when should the chat vote? This keeps tallies across the board. So whenever somebody makes a good point that you agree with, vote for that person. We're going to tally them at the end. You can vote at any point. I just highly encourage it.
You still vote for me literally if my nose is like running.
Oh, Shannon, you talked such a big game too.
No, we're good. I'm ready.
I can already feel my lips swelling up like a fucking Kardashian over here. Like I'm gonna look like I had like Botox by the end of this.
Okay. So is this my time? Is it my turn to counter?
Yeah, go for it.
God.
So you talked very specifically about how Star Trek was all about how we all want to work it out and how Star Wars is about war because the word war is in it. So obviously that's the logical conclusion. But I've already established that the Defiant was the first and only ever class of ship that was built specifically for the purpose of battle, because they had to go against the Borg. And let's look at the rest of the Star Trek ships. The rest of the ships in the Star Trek fleet, you don't want to mess with them to begin with, and they were not built for battle. Yet they still win battles. This is the first Starfleet ship that was built specifically for battle. Can you imagine? You don't want to go up against a Starfleet ship on the best of days, yet alone the one Starfleet ship that is built for battle. I mean, you can say that it's hugs and rainbows all you want for Starfleet, but when it comes to the Borg and then the Dominion, they weren't fucking around. So go ahead, send your little Millennium Falcon against the Borg. See how quickly they get assimilated. Have you ever seen a Han Solo Borg? Because you would if he went up against them in the little piddly ass Millennium Falcon with no cloaking devices, only forward or aft deflectors, and a sentient computer that does or doesn't listen to him depending on the day of the week and what it feels like. I'm sorry, but if I have a choice, I'm going to get in the Defiant. You do you, though.
All right. And you guys, we are done with round one.
Thank God.
You both brought it. I am so impressed.
Oh, my God.
All right, you guys. Make sure you're voting. Everybody's moving on to the next question. How are you guys feeling so far?
My stomach feels amazing.
That is good.
It's great.
Let's hope that continues.